Okay guys, hey, it's Color99 from YouTube. Today I'll be showing you a tutorial on how to make Ragdolls spawn at the press of a button. I don't see why this tutorial is useful, but you know it's pretty fun when you're trying to make a kind of a humorous map. So, or if you're just trying to test out physics on something, it's good to So launch up Source SDK in Hammer, and just wait a second for Hammer to load up. It's kind of slow. Hopefully it doesn't lag like a biatch like it usually does on mine when I'm recording. I'm gonna hurry make a new project, and we're gonna start out with making a dev textured blocks. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a no draw texture. And most of you would know that if you watch my tutorials that I click the top surface after I'm done applying, because the reason I do this is because it only selects the top face that I can add a texture to. So if you're thinking that I just hurry and change it to no draw and then change the whole thing back to dev, it's actually I'm actually doing something different. So actually I'm gonna make the ground gray and the walls orange. So make your little blocks. I'm gonna make my walls about 192 in height, let's say that. And I'm gonna hurry and unclick that surface and give it a no draw texture. I'm gonna give the walls an orange one. And so I'm gonna hurry and just make my basic walls. Assuming you know most of the basic knowledge about entities and stuff like that in Hammer. I'll teach you everything you need to know on this tutorial though, so if there's something you don't understand, I'm probably going to be covering it. Hopefully I can fit this within the 10-minute time limit. If not, please PM me any questions that you have, and hopefully I can answer them. I'm going to go ahead and give this a skybox texture. And a friend of mine named Sphinxa, who makes a lot of the Source SDK Hammer tutorials, taught me a way on how to make my walls a bit more optimized, which is you drag out all the corners in the vertex editor like this, and it usually optimizes most of your walls in a good way. So yeah. So basically what you make it look like is this. It's actually really good for optimization. As you can see, we've now drawn the outside of an entire block except for this other wall right here. I'm going to draw the rest of that. Okay, so since we spent like almost over a minute already just making our environment, I'm going to hurry and just boost through this as fast as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the grid and make a small pedestal to show where the ragdoll is going to be spawning. It's going to be 32 by 64, like this. And I'm going to go ahead and give it an orange dev texture. Yes, dev is good for beta stages of your map. I'm going to go ahead and make a panel to put the button on, like this. And then I'm going to hurry and make the button. I'm going to lower down the grid and make it about... And it doesn't really matter, I'm just going to make it a pretty basic button like this. Okay, so now what we can do is we can go ahead and give it a button texture. So I'm just going to hit button in the texture search, and it comes up with this top left one is my favorite. Click this and just hit fit, and it'll fit the button. So here's our button. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to make our ragdoll real quick. So prop underscore ragdolls, how you make ragdolls. Sorry guys, my mic just fell over. It's being stupid. So make a prop ragdoll real quick to make ragdolls, and find the ragdoll that you want. I'm just gonna spawn a corpse, so just type in corpse. And I do have a lot of models. I've ripped huge amounts of models from different Valve games, so it takes a while for all mine to load up. I have about 7,000 models, and when I'm supposed to only have about 4,000, but yeah. So we'll just wait a second for it to load up. It's only at 4,000 right now, but should come around soon. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, okay. Now, here's our ragdoll. So I'm going to go ahead and stick him up on the pedestal. Like this. And I'm going to go ahead and click my button and hit Control plus T, or hit Control and T. What this does is it turns the brush into an entity to be used, and make the entity a func underscore button in class. Hit apply, and you don't have to name the button, but make sure you okay. Well, first of all I did was just basically create a button. I don't have to do anything right now with it. So make a new entity called a point underscore template. What point template does is it stores an entity inside of it, or it stores an entity in its data and makes it so you can spawn that entity. So give the ragdoll a name real quick. I'm just going to name it corpse. Yeah, apply. And so we just named our ragdoll so we can use it in a point template. Name your point. I'm going to name my point template corpse corpse temp, T-E-M-P. I always do that. I always put the name of the entity and then temp after it just to make sure that it's a template. That's how I differ from all my models. That's the way I do it. So, okay. So basically, what we did is this ragdoll won't be here at the beginning of the Mac because the point template is storing it inside of it. So basically, what you do is you go into the temp or the func button and click outputs, and click add at the bottom, and click my output named on pressed. And then target entities named will be corpse temp, and then click the little down arrow and click force spawn. You can click only fire once, which means if you press the button, it only does it one time, and so that only means you can press the button like once and only do that one time. I'm gonna click no though. This makes it so that I can spawn multiple at a time. And so yeah, basically what we did is we made it so that if you touch the button, it spawns a ragdoll.